Alright, so I thought I'd do a new pedal board rundown since it's changed again. And figured I'd do a whole new setup and why I like this over everything I've already previously done. I've been using this setup, playing in front of people and taking it to gigs and stuff. And figured I'd show a cool video on what all these pedals do and my pedal chain and why I have them set up this way. So, starting with the tuner, that's pretty self-explanatory. So make sure I'm in tune. Then out of that, I go into my synthesizer pedal, which I used to have at the end of my chain, but now I have it in the front, so all these other pedals can actually affect this. So I can do synthesizers with other sounds on top of it and make the synth sound even more cool. So turn that on real quick. Then out of the Synth 9, I'm going into a new pedal that I recently got that is a big favorite of mine. This is a POG, which is also known as a polyphonic octave generator, which is what POG stands for. And it's got a knob for each octave. Your normal guitar, which is your dry signal, your sub octave, which is your lower octave, and then your octave up, which is your high octave. So I usually just use the low octave, kind of turn my guitar into a bass kind of thing. Or I could try to harmonize it with some mixing all the octaves in. Yeah, fun to mess with, especially when you're running the synth into it. You can even start messing with that stuff too. So then out of the POG, I go into my blues driver, and I use that a lot, like just to make my guitar sound fuller. So here's. And the thing I like about the blues driver is I can roll my volume back and clean it up. So my blues driver is always on, essentially. I like what it does to the sound. So if I need clean sounds, I don't shut the pedal off. I just roll my volume knob back on my guitar. Then out of the blues driver, I go into the hot tubes here, which I use as a boost pedal and a bit of a gain boost. So if I'm playing and I need a bit more, yeah, so that's good to have. And then out of the hot tubes, we then go into the MXR Rockman, which I don't use this very often, but when I do use it, it's because I need the, that 80s tone that. It gets that that sound. So whenever I need to do like an 80s tone, I'll throw that on. So then out of the Rockman, then I go into the American sound, and that's my amp simulator. That allows me to play into PA speakers and the kind of just regular speakers. I don't ever use amps like conventional guitar amps. I just plug right into the PA wherever I'm at, and yeah, and this allows me to do that. So all the pedals that are coming into the front of it is like plugging into the front of a guitar amplifier, and everything after it is like running in the effects loop of a guitar amp. So coming out of this, then we hit the flashback delay, which is a delay pedal. Let's see. So let's shut both of these off. So turn the delay on. Adds me that real quick slapback. Bom bom. Move it off. Yeah, and then I got the Hall of Fame 2, which I've been looking for some time. That adds the reverb. I'm usually running spring reverb, but the shimmer reverb is very pretty. So as the reverb comes back at you, like that echoing sound, it actually it starts coming up in pitch. Yeah, so this thing has a bunch of different reverb modes and all sorts of stuff, but most of the time I'm just using the spring reverb or plate reverb depending on what sound I'm going for. But so then out of the reverb into the drum machine. So that's pretty basic. I can set the tempo and change the drum beats, and that thing does it all. And then into my looper for recording. So to kind of give an idea of what this thing can do, let's make a little jam check real quick. So we'll go over everything again, but in real-time use. So turn on the drum machine here. And I always put the drum machine before the looper because I just feel like it's easier to time it. And then once you have it timed, you shut the drum machine off. So that way you record the drums too, and it's not after. And that way it won't fall out of sync with itself. I've just found it easier to record the drums rather than having a looper play to it. So I always put the drum machine before the looper pedal. Okay, so where to start? See, so if you fall out of time like that, you got to start over. That's a good start. Still using my main single coil checkerboard telly I made, the Kelly Telly or the Kelly Caster, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, that's the whole pedal board rundown and everything I'm using, and that's not even half the sounds I can come up with using it. Because I mean, you can combine all these different pedals and stack gain, or do more bass parts, or run the synth, and like I was doing through the bass, or the not the bass, but the polyphonic octave generator, and move this down a whole octave, making it deeper and lower sounding. And yeah, and then different delay tricks you can set and have, more delays slapping back or less, or longer time in between, or yeah, there's pretty much endless possibilities. But I'm pretty happy with the current pedal board setup now. I can do quite a bit with it. And yeah, all my sound comes from the pedal board, so I don't rely on any amplifiers. I just go straight into any PA or basic speaker I'm using, and that's the sound I get. So yeah, if anybody was ever wondering what I was using lately with my pedal board setup, that's it. So thank you guys for watching. See you guys on the next one.